You know something's off. You feel it in your gut. Not because something bad has happened, but because too little has. Days are passing. Weeks slip through your fingers. You're alive, but you're not truly living. You've become a spectator to your own life. You keep telling yourself you'll change. Tomorrow, next week, when things calm down, when you're ready. But the truth is, that moment never comes, and you know it. Deep down, you're tired. Tired of drifting. Tired of pretending. Tired of waiting for a breakthrough that never arrives. You want more. You crave clarity. You ache for momentum. But you feel stuck in place, trapped in a loop of distraction avoidance and silent frustration. Let's stop the cycle, right now. Because this is your wake-up call. Not next month. Not after one more scroll, one more excuse, one more wasted hour. Now. Your mind may feel messy. Your routine may be broken. Your motivation may be buried beneath doubt. But even now, the smallest spark of decision can ignite something unstoppable. This moment, the one you're in right now, is not just a pause in your day. It is a door, a threshold. And on the other side of it is a version of you that finally takes control. A version of you who no longer lets fear set the pace. A version who no longer lives on autopilot. A version who acts, not someday, but today. And make no mistake, this isn't about motivation. Motivation fades. This is about resolve. A line in the sand, no turning back declaration that you will no longer betray your potential. You've spent enough time stuck in limbo. Let this be the moment you begin again. Because clarity doesn't wait. Purpose doesn't knock twice. And life won't hand you control, you have to seize it. So right now, breathe. Let the chaos quiet. Let the doubts settle. And prepare. Because your new life doesn't begin with a miracle. It begins with a choice. A ship without a compass drifts. It doesn't matter how strong the engine is, how capable the crew, how calm the waters. Without direction, it's at the mercy of the wind. So is a life without purpose. You can wake early, work hard, check every box. But if you have no clear aim, you'll spend your days reacting instead of creating. Existing instead of living. Surviving instead of building. Every towering success begins not with luck, not with genius, but with a single force. A definite purpose. A burning clarity that pierces through distraction and aligns your actions with a deeper mission. Picture Andrew Carnegie, born in poverty, raised with nothing. And yet in the stillness of his mind, he made a decision. He would become a master of industry. He didn't whisper it. He didn't ask for permission. He declared it with such certainty that the universe had no choice but to respond. He wrote it. He believed it. He lived it. And in doing so, he summoned knowledge people and opportunities like iron to a magnet. This is not superstition. It's not fantasy. It's the very mechanics of greatness. Carnegie's story was not a miracle. It was a blueprint. The same force that moved Edison to endure 10,000 failures, that drove Roosevelt to rise from illness to leadership, that guided Ford from a mechanic's bench to changing the world. That force is available to you, right now. But first you must choose, not vaguely, not someday, now. Sit with yourself. Strip away the noise. Ask the question few ever dare to answer. What do I truly want? Not what sounds good, not what others expect. What you want deep in your bones. Financial independence, creative mastery, radiant health, a legacy of service. Write it, speak it, engrave it into your consciousness. Because when you define your aim with unshakable clarity, your subconscious begins to work like a compass. It attracts the people, the resources, the timing, the fire. Purpose bends reality. Not through magic, but through alignment. And yes, your dream may be big. It may scare you. It's supposed to. But if it's worth having, it's worth becoming. Because men don't fail for lack of talent. They fail for lack of aim. So today, don't just want change. Command it. Define your purpose, declare it, act like a man possessed by it, and the world will move for you. Your purpose is not just a sentence on paper. It is the ignition switch to your future. Your mind is not just where thoughts happen. It is where reality begins. And the quality of that reality, your confidence, your resilience, your results depends on one core decision. Will you train it to see the good or surrender to the dark? A positive mental attitude is not a cute phrase. It is the difference between victory and collapse. It is the magnetic field around your thoughts either repelling or attracting every opportunity, every relationship, every outcome. This is not theory. It's law. Call it cause and effect. Call it vibration. Call it attraction. Name it whatever you want. But understand this, it works. Every time. Without exception. The man who carries optimism like armor cannot be destroyed by failure. Because failure to him is simply feedback. It's data, direction, discovery. Just ask Edison. 10,000 failed attempts to give light to the world, and not once did he say, "I failed." He said, "I found another way that doesn't work." That right there is the mark of a trained mind, a positive mind. The average man stumbles and curses the fall. The man of purpose stumbles and studies the pattern. Because hidden within adversity is a seed, a lesson, a breakthrough, a hidden door. But only a trained eye can see it. So how do you train that eye? You practice. Every day, every moment. As you would train a muscle, so must you train your mind. You feed it daily with affirmations, "I choose belief over fear. I act with courage even in doubt. I rise no matter how many times I fall." You protect it from toxins, cynicism, negativity, complaining. You uproot doubt like a weed the moment it appears, and you replace it with truth. Because thoughts are not idle. They become beliefs. Beliefs become behaviors. Behaviors become destiny. The man who believes he cannot won't. Not because the world stops him, but because he stops himself. But the man who believes he can, even if the world laughs, even if the odds say no, he steps forward. And with each step he gathers momentum. With momentum comes confidence. With confidence, success. Let the world complain. Let the critics whine. Let the masses sink into mediocrity. You build your mind into a fortress. You become the creator, not the reactor. The one who sets the weather inside no matter the storm outside. Speak hope. Choose faith. See the benefit when others see only burden. This is not naivete. It is power. And it is yours if you commit. So declare it. Not softly. With conviction, I am the master of my mind. I choose the thoughts that build the life I deserve. Think well. Believe boldly. Act powerfully. And the world will mirror the greatness within. Discipline. It doesn't shimmer like charisma. It doesn't dazzle like talent. But make no mistake, discipline is the invisible scaffolding behind every monument of greatness. Without it, dreams decay into delusion. Without it, momentum fades into memory. You can want success with every fiber of your being. You can visualize it, speak it, pray for it. But unless you act relentlessly, deliberately, consistently, success will remain a ghost, a whisper, a could have been. Discipline is what separates the man who hopes from the man who becomes. Because all men get tired, all men face resistance, but only the disciplined man shows up anyway. When motivation is gone, he moves. When inspiration fades, he executes. Success in its purest form is not a single thunderous event. It is the quiet rhythm of action repeated with integrity. Think of William Renshaw, not born a champion, not gifted a legacy. He earned it, day by day, drill by drill. While others slept in, he trained. While others scrolled, he studied. While others waited, he acted. And when the world saw his triumph, they called it talent. But behind every talent is 1,000 mornings of sweat, 1,000 evenings of structure, 1,000 decisions to keep showing up. So let me ask you, what are your daily non-negotiables? What promises have you made to yourself, and are you keeping them? Because every time you honor your own word to rise early, to train with intent, to do the deep work, you're not just building a habit, you're building a man of character, a man of consequence. Discipline is integrity in motion. It's the sacred act of becoming someone your future can trust, and it is not a prison. It is a liberation. When your actions are governed by principle, your mind is free from doubt, free from chaos, free from distraction. That's the paradox. The more structured your life, the more room you have to create. But don't mistake discipline for rigidity. The disciplined man adapts. He pivots when needed. But he never loses sight of the mission. Because structure is not the enemy of fire, it is the channel that lets fire build an empire. So start today. Small, but serious. Design your morning. Define your absolutes. Execute without apology, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because the man who wins is not the one who acts once in a while. It's the one who acts every day. And when you fall, because you will, don't excuse it. Rise. Not because it's easy, but because it's who you are now. Let discipline be your sword. Let discipline be your shield. Let discipline become your identity. Because in the end, the world does not reward the man who tries occasionally. It rewards the man who persists relentlessly. Focus. Not the soft kind, not the temporary kind, but the ruthless, blinding, fire-through-glass kind of focus. Because here's the truth. Scattered effort creates scattered results. And a distracted life builds nothing lasting. Most people live like flickering candles in the wind. A little attention here, a little effort there. They start a project, get bored, chase something new. They dip their toes into 10 dreams but never dive into one. And then they wonder, why is nothing working? Because energy when diluted becomes weak. But energy when concentrated, it becomes a force of nature. Imagine the sun. Warm, yes. Powerful, yes. But scatter that light and it only warms your skin. Now channel it through a magnifying glass. It burns. It ignites. It transforms. Your mind is no different. Focus turns thought into fire. It turns a man into a weapon. Look at Alexander Graham Bell. He wasn't chasing applause. He wasn't dabbling in 50 ideas. He had one obsession: to transmit human speech. He fixed his entire being on that single goal and gave the world the telephone. That wasn't just intelligence. That was focus. So ask yourself, what are you letting dilute your strength? What distractions are stealing your legacy? Notifications, multitasking, endless scrolling, busy work disguised as progress. Every moment you surrender to noise, you abandon depth. You trade greatness for mediocrity. But the focused man, he's different. He clears the clutter. He clears the calendar. He clears his mind. He selects one worthy aim and he pours everything into it. He doesn't chase every shiny opportunity. He masters one. He carves through confusion with clarity. He creates results that others call impossible. So how do you become that man? Start small. One task, 1 hour. No distractions. Clear your desk. Silence the noise. Train your attention like a muscle. Then stretch it 30 minutes. Then 60. Then 90. Let your focus grow stronger than your impulses. And protect your environment. Let the people around you know. Your time is sacred. Your mission is real. Your attention is not for sale. Because the future doesn't belong to the busiest. It belongs to the most focused. Depth over speed. Mastery over multitasking. Purpose over noise. You don't need more time. You need more focus. So today, choose your target. And aim every breath, every thought, every action like a laser. Because the man who concentrates not only succeeds, He shapes history. Gratitude. It's more than politeness. More than a fleeting feeling when something good happens. It is in truth a superpower. A force that shifts your entire existence from scarcity to abundance. Because here's what few understand. Gratitude is not passive. It is generative. It doesn't just recognize goodness, it attracts it. The man who is grateful doesn't wait for life to be perfect. He doesn't demand the stars to align. He looks around even in difficulty and says, I still have breath. I still have strength. And that means I still have power. And that mindset, that shift in perspective, it changes everything. Because whatever you focus on expands. Focus on lack, and your world shrinks. Focus on what you have, even if it's only a spark, and you fan it into flame. Gratitude doesn't mean settling. It means recognizing your foundation and building upward with strength instead of despair. Look at Booker T. Washington, born into slavery, denied education, resources, dignity. Yet he rose not by cursing his chains, but by focusing on what could be done, on what could be learned, on what could be built. That mindset of gratitude became his fuel, and that fuel ignited a legacy, because gratitude turns hardship into wisdom, delay into preparation, struggle into strength. This is not fluffy philosophy. It's strategic living, because a grateful mind is a powerful mind. It sees the lesson while others complain. It sees the opportunity while others whine. It moves forward while others stay stuck in, why me? So how do you practice this? You start simple. Every morning, name 3 things. Speak them, write them, feel them. It doesn't matter how small, the breath in your lungs, a quiet moment of clarity, the chance to try again today. Gratitude isn't for the grand winds, it's for the daily soil where those winds grow. And when storms come, and they will, gratitude becomes your anchor. It steadies your spirit when plans fall apart. It humbles you when victory arrives. It keeps you kind when the world tempts you to harden. It is not weakness, it is armor. So let this become sacred. Before your phone, before your schedule, before the world floods you with problems, gratitude grounds you. Because when your heart is full, your life becomes fertile. Fertile for ideas, for relationships, for wealth, for growth. And here's the final truth. The world responds to the man who walks in appreciation. He is trusted, he is remembered, he is followed. Gratitude multiplies whatever it touches. So practice it not once in a while, but as often as you breathe. Let it be your compass. Let it be your lens. Let it be your legacy. Because the grateful man does not just find success, he magnifies it. Action. Not the kind you rehearse in your mind, not the kind that waits for motivation, but the kind that moves without apology, without hesitation now. Because let's make one thing crystal clear. Procrastination is not laziness, it's fear in disguise. It's the voice that tells you to wait, to plan more, to gather more certainty, to perfect everything before beginning. And while you wait, life moves on. Opportunities pass. Momentum dies. Success doesn't bow to the thinker. It bows to the doer. Every great builder, every legendary innovator, every leader etched in history, they all share one trait. They acted before they felt ready. Think of the Wright brothers. No permission, no perfect conditions, no blueprint that guaranteed success. They built, they failed, they built again, and one day they flew. Not because they knew they would, but because they decided they must. You see, indecision is more dangerous than a wrong decision, because even the wrong step carries feedback. It carries momentum. It carries a lesson. But indecision, it paralyzes. It drains your energy. It steals your time. And it slowly erodes your belief in yourself. Meanwhile, the man who moves, he gathers power with every step. He doesn't wait for the fear to disappear. He walks through it. He understands that confidence is not the fuel, it's the result of movement. The act of starting, of building, of trying. That's what sharpens your edge. That's what builds trust in yourself. That's what turns ideas into reality. So here's the call. Stop overthinking. Stop rehearsing failure. Stop needing guarantees. Make the decision today. Make the call. Send the email. Write the first line. Launch the first version. Step into the room, even if it's imperfect, even if you tremble, even if no one claps. Because action is not about perfection, it's about initiation. And every small action compounds. One brick laid today becomes a wall tomorrow. One step taken today becomes a journey rewritten. You must build this muscle. Catch yourself in the act of delay. Then ask, what's the smallest step I can take right now? Then do it. Not later. Not when it feels right. Now. Because your future will not be built on what you intended to do, only on what you actually did. So move. With urgency, with purpose, with fire. Be the man who decides. Be the one who dares. Be the one who doesn't just dream, but executes. Because the door to your next level doesn't open with thought. It opens with action. Resilience. It's not loud. It doesn't always roar. But it is, without question, the unshakable core of every man who ever rose from failure to greatness. Because let's face it, life will test you. Not once. Not lightly. But again and again, with storms, with loss, with setbacks that hit deeper than you ever expected. And in those moments, the question is never, will I fall? The question is, will I rise again? The resilient man doesn't pretend to be invincible. He bleeds. He breaks. He cries. But he doesn't stay down. He gathers strength from the dirt, wisdom from the wound, fire from the failure, and he keeps moving. Not because it's easy, but because his purpose is bigger than his pain. Think of Benjamin Franklin. Ridiculed, rejected, obstacles at every turn. But what made him extraordinary was not the brilliance of his ideas. It was the depth of his resilience. He didn't curse failure. He used it. He didn't surrender to resistance. He absorbed it, turned it into energy. And you can too. But first, shift your relationship with adversity. Expect it. Not in a pessimistic way, but in a prepared way. Life is not a straight line. It curves. It tests. It throws punches. And the man who accepts this reality becomes unbreakable. Second, control the conversation inside your own mind. When the storm hits, speak truth. Not despair, not self-pity. Say, this is fuel. This is proof I'm alive and evolving. This moment will not define me. How I respond to it will. Your inner voice becomes your lifeline. Make sure it's speaking power. Third, bounce back faster. Train yourself to recover not perfectly, but deliberately. You fall, get up. You fail, learn quicker. You lose, recommit harder. Resilience isn't about pretending nothing hurts. It's about refusing to be owned by the hurt. It's about adjusting your strategy, never your mission. It's about bending without breaking. It's about evolving without surrendering. And here's the truth. Most ignore. Your greatest strength isn't how well you perform when things go right. It's how you show up when everything goes wrong. When others crumble, you calculate. When others rage, you refocus. When others fold, you rebuild. Because resilience doesn't just endure the pressure, it transforms under it. So practice hardship. Don't run from discomfort. Engage with it. Stretch yourself. Train your body. Sharpen your mind. Let small challenges prepare you for bigger victories. Surround yourself with the resilient. People who rise, not whine. People who fight, not flinch. Let their fire ignite your own. Above all, keep your eyes on the mission. Let your purpose outshine your pain. Let your vision outlast your emotions. Because the man who endures is not lucky. He is forged. Each setback is a hammer. Each obstacle a chisel. And every single trial you survive builds the unbreakable you. Learning. Not the kind you finish when school ends. Not the kind you collect for trivia or show, but the kind that becomes a way of life, a sacred daily ritual that turns potential into power. Because here's the unfiltered truth. You can't outperform your knowledge. You can't out-strategize ignorance. And you can't build an extraordinary life on outdated thinking. Success belongs to the student. Always has. Always will. And I'm not talking about degrees or diplomas. I'm talking about curiosity, a hunger to understand, to adapt, to grow. Think of Leonardo da Vinci. No formal privilege, no institutional support, but he studied everything: anatomy, engineering, astronomy, art, architecture. He didn't chase success, he chased understanding. And in doing so, he became timeless. You have that same capacity, but only if you commit to learning as your edge, because in a world changing by the minute, if you're not learning, you're falling behind. The economy rewards problem solvers, and you can only solve at the level of your knowledge. So how do you stay ahead? First, read. Every day, even 20 minutes, even one page. Not just to pass time to stretch your mind. Choose books that challenge you, ideas that confront you, wisdom that outlives trends. Great minds have left roadmaps. Open them. Second, ask better questions. Don't settle for surface answers. Dig. Explore. Be the one who asks why 5 times deeper. Curiosity is the beginning of all innovation. Third, diversify your sources. Read the poet and the strategist. Study the scientist and the philosopher. Each lens reveals another angle, and the man who sees from many angles sees clearly. Fourth, apply what you learn. Knowledge that gathers dust is weight, but knowledge in motion, that's power. Test ideas, implement, fail, refine. Let learning shape your action, not just your bookshelf. Fifth, remain humble. The moment you think you know enough is the moment you stop rising. The truly wise stay students forever. They let life teach them through people, through failure, through every unexpected turn. And here's the multiplier effect. The more you learn, the more valuable you become. To clients, to teams, to the world. You earn more when you know more. You lead more when you understand more. And you become more when you grow more. This is not theory. This is economic law. So don't waste time scrolling aimlessly. Don't fill your head with distraction. Fill it with precision, with purpose, with power. Start today. Open the book. Listen to the mentor. Study the process. Explore the unknown. Let learning become your secret weapon, your daily fuel, your legacy, because the man who learns relentlessly becomes unstoppable. Service, not charity, not obligation, but purpose in action, the highest expression of a life well lived. Because here's the ultimate truth. Success isn't measured by what you accumulate. It's measured by what you contribute. Your title fades, your bank account fluctuates, but your impact that stays. It echoes in every life you touch, in every soul you lift. Greatness is never selfish. It multiplies itself through others. Look at Abraham Lincoln, born into hardship, raised in obscurity. He had every excuse to rise for himself, but he didn't. He rose for the nation. He rose for justice. He rose for unity. And in doing so, he became immortal, not in fame, but in impact. Because the greatest legacy isn't your name carved in stone, it's your influence etched into hearts. So ask yourself, who gets better because you got better? Whose burden is lighter because you showed up with strength? Whose hope reignited because you lived with fire? This is what matters. Your success is not just for you. It is meant to be a bridge, a light, a map. When you serve, you don't lose, you expand. You grow in meaning. You grow in clarity. You grow in soul. And no, you don't need to wait until you're rich or famous or ready. Start where you are, with what you have. Smile, listen, encourage, mentor one, support one, uplift one. Impact isn't about scale, it's about intention. A kind word, a shared lesson, a quiet act of belief in someone who's forgotten their worth. These are not small things, they are seeds, and they grow into forests of transformation. So make it your mission, not just to rise, but to raise. Let your ambition be rooted in contribution. Let your power empower others. Because here's the paradox. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you lift, the higher you climb. Be the one who inspires. Be the one who multiplies. Be the one who leaves a legacy that cannot be erased. Success alone can be admired, but service, it is felt. And that feeling lives on, long after the applause fades. So build your dream, but build it wide enough for others to walk through. Because true greatness doesn't end with you. It begins with what you give away. So now you've been reminded, you've been awakened. And if your heart stirred even once along the way, then this moment is not an accident. It's a calling. Not from me, but from the deeper version of you. The one you were meant to be. The one who's been waiting for you to finally step forward. You don't need another pep talk. You don't need more plans. You need movement. You've been given the map. 10 strategies not for theory but for transformation. So now ask yourself, will I let this be just another video? I nod along to another idea that feels good but fades in hours? Or will I act decisively, deliberately, unapologetically? Will I define my purpose so clearly that the world can't ignore it? Will I build my mind into a fortress of positivity? Will I discipline myself until success becomes inevitable? Will I focus like a laser? Will I choose gratitude, especially in hardship? Will I take action before doubt has a chance to speak? Will I rise from setbacks like they were invitations to evolve? Will I learn like my future depends on it because it does? Will I serve with open hands, open heart, and unwavering conviction? These are not rhetorical questions. These are mirrors. And how you answer them not with your lips but with your life will shape the next chapter. Because here's what no one tells you. Your life can look completely different in 6 months, in 90 days, in one decision made today. You are not stuck. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are becoming. But only if you act. So don't let this fire go cold. Do something right now, yes now, to interrupt the old patterns. Write the purpose. Create the schedule. Make the call. Say the truth. Start the project. Forgive the past. Own your future. And if something deep inside of you is whispering, "This time I won't quit," then don't. Because the man who decides, who truly decides, is the man who changes everything. If this spoke to something real inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message with someone you care about. Comment below. I'm ready. Subscribe for more reminders of who you truly are. But most importantly, move. Not someday. Now. This is your moment. Claim it.